Warning, this video may contain spoilers. This is your official warning that this video will probably contain spoilers that you can probably look at the second you actually own Space Age and look at the technology tree. With that said, if you don't want to have any spoilers, I do recommend you click the watch later button and come back after Space Age has been released and have a look at this video, because it's probably going to answer a very important question for you. G'day mate, and welcome to Factorio 2.0 Space Age with me, Ginny. I've been asked many times which planet you should visit in what order. So whilst I wait for the mods to build a few more things and the bots get a little bit more things done, let me actually answer that question that's probably hot on your mind. And along with, when should I actually leave Narvis? When should I go off-world? But before I get to that, may I ask a simple question, a very simple question, and that is, what can I borrow a lack? I just like to borrow a lack. I like to borrow a lack early in the video. If you're not happy with the video, you didn't think this video was informative, by all means, you can have your like back. So, very first thing I need to answer is, when should you leave Narvis? And that's entirely up to you. But first off, let's look at the tech tree and let's look at what you're actually going to need to do before you leave Narvis. So, I've just finished blue science. Well, we're still in blue science. Yellow science is in my list of things to unlock. Purple science is technically unlocked, but more importantly, I can now build a rocket silo. Well, I can research the ability to make a rocket silo. In the ability of me to make a rocket silo, well, you'll notice a couple of things that we used to have previously, we no longer have. So after you get a rocket silo and you unlock space science, that's when you can get, well, module 2s. That's probably going to be something you want to look at, along with, well, the usual things, you know, infinite research for robot worker speed, also stronger explosives, and of course, refined flammables, and projectile damage, along with laser damage, your follow robot count, and your electric weapon damage is actually a new one. That's a new one. That is for, we hold down Alt and left click, Alt and right click. No, it's not going to work inside this menu. Okay. If Alt and left click on the effects, we can see that, yes, this particular research is... the first 2 tiers only affect defender capsules, and then it's going to start affecting other things. The other things we'll have to talk about when we get them unlocked. But yes, there's going to be a couple of researches you're not going to have straight away. On top of that, it's going to give you thrusters, it's going to give you access to the next 3 planets, but also you're going to want to probably get to space to get Covrex unlocked, along with logistics systems. Technically, it means you can unlock them a whole lot earlier in the game, sort of. Space easier than yellow. They're about on par, actually. So there are going to be some things that you're probably going to want to unlock, which means you might want to make the rush to space as soon as you've unlocked blue science. But you still need to get thrusters. You still need to make a space platform. You still need a space platform to move. And then that's going to lead to the new question, which planet do I want to visit first? Do you wish to go to Fagola? Do you wish to go to Gleba? Do you wish to go to Vulcanus? That's a whole different question that takes a little bit more to answer. So let's quickly go look at the space map. We're going to notice that Narvis directly connects to Gleba, Vulcanus, and Fagola. And, well, we also have a length of 15,000 kilometers between each of the planets, which does mean that no matter what, it's going to take you a couple of minutes worth of travel time. Whether you're in a poorly optimized ship or a very high-speed ship, no matter what, it's probably going to be some sort of travel time. Again, we'll get into distances, travel time, spaceships, different video, not this one. But what I do want to do is I want to look at, well, the different perks you're going to get on the different planets, along with the different researches you're going to get. So if we go look at Vulcanus, Vulcanus being the fact that you are getting unlimited amounts of iron and copper, as we can see here, we can automate iron, we can automate copper, we can automate steel, we can automate ammo, we can automate, well, of course, the new buildings that we get on this particular planet as well. And you can very easily build pretty much everything you can build on Narvis. You know, we can start mass making belts on this planet. We can definitely have a situation where we can quite easily replace a lot of the construction we had on Narvis on a brand new planet, which is very handy to have. And it also means it's less outposting from Narvis, it's less having to worry about iron and copper if you move a lot of your production here. On top of that, we also need to look at the tech tree. What technology you can actually gain from visiting Vulcanus? If we come up and we select Vulcanus in the tech tree, we can then look at see what exactly we're going to be unlocking on Vulcanus. So the answer is, well, calcite processing, also tungsten carbide, and the foundry. These are really specific to this planet, so it's not going to really matter to you too much. The foundry is that, well, that wonderful building that we can use to start making molten iron and molten copper. Also, it carries that 50% productivity bonus along with it, which does mean that it's very handy in doing, well, anything iron and copper related. It does mean you need to turn everything in molten iron and molten copper, which is fairly easy on Vulcanus. It's a little bit more difficult on other planets, but it is a possibility. On top of that, you're going to get the big mining drill. The big mining drill is going to be a massive bonus. It has inbuilt, I'd like to call it productivity bonus. Technically, it's a 50% resource drain. So it means that rather than you mining out one piece of ore and removing one piece of ore from the patch, you remove two pieces of ore for one piece of ore being removed from the patch. Productivity bonus basically works the exact same, but this is how it actually works. So this is going to be a big advantage on every planet going forth that you're mining on. You're mining on pretty much every planet until we get to right at the end, but that's a whole different story. You're gonna get tungsten steel, which, well, if we look up the Factorio, does let you make, well, mainly belts, faster belts, along with a couple of other items that are gonna be super late game, but we'll cover those when we get to them. Also, we get access to the artillery, which we haven't had up until now, cliff explosives, of course. You actually get the full coal liquefaction recipe that was now being moved to this planet. You get a better asteroid reprocessing recipe, which is very, very handy for, well, exploring out in the wilderness. Also rail support, but only after you've also visited Fagola. You get speed module 3s, and of course you get the tungsten belt, which means it's not a bad planet to visit. It's a very easy planet. The only thing you have to worry about on this particular planet is the demolishers. The demolishers are going to stick to their own little area. They're not going to come and attack you. So it does mean it's a planet that you can come, you can colonize, and you can leave freely. And as long as you have some sort of way to remotely build with either robots or remote control tanks, you have the ability to expand if and when you need to. But that leads us on to which planet to visit next. Of course, if we go back to the space map, it's the same distance to Gleba as is to Fagola. So let's go look at our next option. Let's go look at Fagola. So Fagola has, well, scrap. We already know it's the scrap planet. We also know it's the scrap planet full of lightning, which does mean that resource-wise, it's very easy to get most of your resources. If we find scrap, the best way for me to get scrap, actually, the best way for me to get to this is find the Factorio button. Let's just click on the U and type in scrap recycling. So with scrap recycling, we can see that we're going to have processing units very easily, low density structures very easily, and solid fuel very, very easily, which is what, 2 out of the 3 items? It's 2.5 out of the 3 items we need to build a rocket to get the hell back out of here. The only thing we need to do is convert our solid fuel into rocket fuel, and to do that, we need to have light oil. Unfortunately, this planet does not have light oil, but what it does have is it does have copious amounts of heavy oil directly, well, from the sea. So all we need to do is find some water. Water is going to come from ice, and, well, turn on the good old cracking recipe to turn our heavy oil into a light oil into rocket fuel, and then we're pretty much to go, which means getting off this planet is not too hard. It also means research-wise, we get access to the recycler. Now, the recycler is very, very planet-specific to start with, but you will find more uses for it as we get into quality. Quality is a whole different discussion for probably another time. We're also going to helium processing. Helium is like the special resource from this planet. It's not going to be much benefit to you elsewhere for right now, but what is going to be beneficial to you for now is going to be the electromagnetic plant. The electromagnetic plant has a inbuilt base productivity of 50% for every single recipe that can run. And the best way for me to tell you what recipes that can run is basically anything that involves copper wire as some sort of component, subcomponent. It can basically craft. It's mainly around your red and your green circuits and also your blue circuits, but it does do a few other things as well. But it is a very, very handy item to have. Also means that after you visit this particular planet, you've unlocked this particular planet, you are going to get access to all its new tech, which does mean personal battery Mark III. Very, very handy to have bigger and better batteries. Energy Shield Mark II. Yeah, up until now, that's been a locked item. It's been a locked item that we've had previously, but now it's locked behind this planet. We're also going to get the Lightning Collector, which is, again, only beneficial on this planet. We do get the new mech armor. Now, the new mech armor has a few things with it. The biggest thing is going to be the extra 50 inventory slots, along with the equipment grid of 10 by 12. That is a massive amount of equipment grid size. It's going to make a hell of a difference. Sure, it does require you make some interesting items from this planet, like the helium plant, also the superconductors and the supercapacitors. So it's something you need to keep in mind. We're also going to access the personal robot port Mark II, along with the quality module 3, the rail support foundations, which are going to be very, very helpful on this particular planet, because this is specific to this planet to be able to actually build anywhere in the oil ocean, and we get access to the Tesla weapons. The Tesla weapons are, well, they're interesting, they're handy, they're a new weapon type. This is also what we require to unlock unlimited work here, robot speed, along with it does give you a few infinite techs, one of them being processing unit productivity, and of course scrap recycling. This only applies to scrap, so it's something you need to keep in mind. It's only going to apply to scrap on this planet. We should have looked at meteorology science, because that also gives you low density structure productivity as well. These infinite sciences are definitely helpful, but as you can see, they get very, very expensive very quickly. So that's what you're going to be getting access to on this planet. Now, you can sort of see that Vulcanus sort of leads into Fagola by the fact that you need to visit Vulcanus first to have the ability to make the Rouse support foundations, because that requires the meteorological science packs from Fagola, from Vulcanus, to visit Fagola to get the electromagnetic science pack to use this on Fagola. So you can sort of see where the game's leading you. But we still need to talk about Gleba. Once you arrive to Gleba and you have landed in the marshy wetlands, you're going to have to, well, set up your new production lines with your new resources being plants. A whole lot of plants, an awful lot of plants. Also, you're gonna have to deal with the fact that everything is gonna go moldy over time, which is probably the main feature of Gleba. Actually, it's definitely the main feature of Gleba, which does mean that you want to have a very strong logistics network to make sure you can have spaceships deliver things here, because just getting iron and copper is probably gonna be a challenge to start with. But that all being besides the point, what does the planet Gleba actually unlock for you? And this is where things get interesting. So if we go all the way back to Gleba Discovery, we obviously have planet-specific stuff. So we're going to have a new way to make sulfur, also rocket fuel, also the biochamber, which is the specific building for this planet, along with the agriculture. What's this thing called? It's the agriculture tower. Okay, agricultural tower. Yep. But also, this is when we get to, well, advanced asteroid processing. Also, asteroid productivity. That is actually a massive bonus. It's going to make every single spaceship a whole lot more complicated, a whole lot more interesting, a whole lot more efficient. So that's actually a major unlock. On top of that, you're going to get efficiency modules 3. We're sort of self-explanatory. We've been there before. You're going to be also able to access unlimited health via unlimited upgrades. And very interesting research, especially as, well, at this point, you've probably mostly dealt with all the biters, so you don't have that many left, because of course we have, well, the pentapods on this planet, and of course we have the demolishers. But on top of that, you're also going to have to deal with biters still, because you're going to access captivity. Captivity lets you make biter eggs, which is going to lead to productivity modules 3, and it's going to lead into, well, more things that we're going to get down the tree eventually. We also access the tool belt equipment, which is, well, a physical equipment item that you can put inside your armor, which automatically gives you an extra 10 inventory slots, which is actually really, really handy when you start getting some very large armor, and also has a, well, 3x1 shape, so it's a different size item, which means you can shove it in quite easily. Also, as we can see, if you get a few quality upgrades, Legendary gives you 25 extra inventory slots. That's an awful lot of extra inventory. All right, we also get access to, like I said, the quality modules. We can now make epic gear, and we get access to the stack inserter, the new stack inserter, not the old stack inserter. This is the one that both the stacks and bulk inserts things at the same time, which means a whole lot more items on a belt. And we get access to, of course, infinite technology. We have, well, refined fumbles that we've had previously, along with stronger explosives, but we also get access to rocket fuel productivity and also plastic bar productivity. Plastic, you might have noticed, is going to be a fairly common item you're going to be going through, making red circuits to then make blue circuits to then make rockets, and you're going to be launching an awful lot of rockets at this point. Also get access to, well, the rocket turret and, of course, Spidertron. Rocket turrets are actually going to be required at this point to go on to your next planet, but I think the next planet is probably a topic that we need to save for a separate video. The other thing you can access is the biolab. The biolab has, can we just open it? Biolab science pack drain 50%. So this means rather than using, say, one red pack to do one red pack's worth of research, you end up doing 2 red packs worth of research. Yeah, that's a massive upgrade by having the biolab. The biolab, of course, requires some uranium, some biter eggs, some refined concrete, along with a lab and 2 captured bot rockets. So, yeah, it's a very interesting objective to gather. But Gleba definitely has the highest challenge in setting up the planet, the most difficulty in getting things running. Also, the previous tech from the other two planets doesn't give you a big advantage here. Sure, with the ability to go to Fagora and get the recycler, it does mean that because you're bringing out, well, high-level items on Fagola directly from the scrap that's all everywhere on the planet, you can use those high-level items and put quality modules in your actual scrappers to start getting out higher quality items right at the very first process, which then, with a little bit more quality modules, you can start making some serious upgrades to, well, the quality of your factory, the quality of every factory, the quality of every space platform, so that is technically an advantage you can take into Gleba. Vulcanus is going to give you cliff explosives, which is going to be handy on Gleba. It's also going to give you the faster green belt, which again is going to be very advantageous on Gleba to make sure things don't go moldy too quickly. In saying that, none of the mold timers are terribly quick as long as you have smaller production lines. Smaller, more closed loop production lines, everything should run fine. Sure, you're also going to get the artillery. Now, the artillery is going to be very, very handy, except artillery shells are very heavy. Yeah, 10 of them. 10 of them in a single rocket. So flying them out here is going to be a little bit difficult. Also, the items required to make them, not really prevalent on Gleba. Artillery wagons, can we fly them? Rock capacity, 1. Okay, turns out you can fly around artillery. Okay, 5 of the static ones. So you can fly artillery out here. Then you're going to fly artillery shells out here. So of the 3 planets, and the question of which one do you want to visit first? Do you want to go to Gleba? Do you want to go to Vulcanus? Do you want to go to Fagola? Look, the decision is really up to you. To really summarize it, Vulcanus, you're going to have free unlimited amounts of iron and copper. Also, fairly easy to make oil, which does mean that you can move a lot of your production from Narvis to Vulcanus if you wish. Or you can just use the resource of Vulcanus to make sure that Narvis stays well supplied with everything it does need. Fagola is going to be full of scrap. It does mean that if you want to lean into quality, you want to upgrade quality, it is going to be a planet that you want to visit and you're going to want to look at quality. It is also going to give you that Mark III armor, which does have one big advantage, and that is, well, it flies. Yeah, I can just fly over everything. That is, honestly, a massive advantage. Also, the bigger equipment grid doesn't hurt. Your last planet choice is, of course, Gleba. Gleba is, well, it's a planet. It's a planet. It does have some interesting tech on there, don't get me wrong. That's, well, the ability to get Spidertrons and leave a Spidertron on any planet, or a group of Spidertrons on any planet. Being able to expand on any planet without actually visiting there is definitely going to improve your factory time. It's definitely going to improve your overall efficiency, and it means that you don't need to travel around nearly as much, and you can just use the remote view to do an awful lot of expansion. But all of that leads into, well, I still don't know which planet you should be visiting first. It's really a decision that you need to make, and I'm hoping with this little video right here, you're a little bit more informed about which planet that you want to visit first. In my case, I'm going to advise you to, well, sit back and watch my Let's Play to work out which planet I end up visiting first, because I think I have a different plan to what everybody else has. But with all that said and done, I'm going to be leaving this particular video here. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed, and I hope this has gone some way towards answering your question of which planet should you be visiting first.